Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to be looking at how to make this beautiful gown. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So thank you so much everybody for subscription and also for sharing my videos, and also thank you so much for always watching my art. I'm very grateful. So this beautiful gown, even if you're a beginner, you'll be able to follow us from start to finish. So if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video, you will also be notified. Let's begin. So first of all, you're going to be marking out our neckline 3 inches and also 3 inches this way. Then we are going to be connecting them together. Next is the shoulder measurement, which is my shoulder measurement divided by 2, 7 inches. So I'm going to be having 7 inches here, okay? Then I'm going to be coming down by ½ an inch. Then I'm going to connect these places together. From here, I'm going to be marking down 8 inches, okay? From the top here. I won't mark from here, from the top here. I'm going to be marking down 8 inches from there. So just mark around your armhole divided by 2, and that should give you either 8 or 7 inches or thereabouts. Then I will connect the lines together. Next is to draw out the chest line, which is somewhere here, okay? Now what I'm going to do now is to mark 2 inches here, 1 inch is here. From this angle we'll mark 1 inch out. Then I'm going to find the midpoint of this very line. Now this is 7.5, okay? Midline from this place, okay, to here. So the midline here now, this is the center. Then we'll now come in with a ½ inch. Then I'm just going to connect them together. Okay, so that's just it. Then I will now connect this place back to the shoulder. So I'm going to mark from my shoulder to my bust. Shoulder to bust is 10 inches for me. My under bust is 13 inches. Now my half length is 16 inches, okay? Now my shoulder to my hips 24, while the length of the gown is 14 inches, which is actually the full paper that I have here, okay? So I'm going to transfer all the markings I've done to this other side and roll out the lines. I have to change the marker since the other one wasn't really writing well. So this is my bust, this is my under bust, this is my waist and the hip. So what I'm going to do now is to mark out my nipple to nipple measurements. So for me here, I'm going to be having 4 inches. So nipple to nipple measurement is 8 for me. Dividing that by 2, I have 4. So I'm marking it here, 4 inches there. I'll mark 4 inches here. I'll mark on my waistline. I'm also going to mark on my hip line because I'm taking this dart down to the end, okay? And I'm also going to mark it at the end of this gown, which is somewhere here, which is the 14 inches. I'll also mark it here. Now what I'm going to do now is to connect all these dots from beginning to the end, okay? So from here, I'm just going to roll a straight line. I'll take it down to the end here. So when we are doing the dots, we are going to be doing the same thing as well. So next thing I'm going to do after now, I hope you guys are seeing. Next thing I'm doing now is subtracting my under bust from my bust measurement. My bust is 36, under bust is 30. Subtracting that will give me 6 inches. I will now divide that 6 inches by 2. Okay? So once I divide that by 2, I'm going to be having 3 inches. So I'm going to come to my under bust here. I'll place 1 inch towards the center front, and I'll place 2 inches towards the side. I'll come here and do the same thing, 1 inch here and also 2 inches on the waist line. On the hip line, the same thing as well, 1 inch, 2 inches here, and also down to the end of the skirt, of the gown rather. I'm going to be doing 1 inch here. This is 3 inches, right? Now what I'm going to do now is to connect this line straight to the end here on both sides. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect these places together. So I'm just going to put my ruler here and then from here I'm going to connect this place down here. I'm also going to flip this around and then connect this one as well. Okay, down to this place. Now let's come over to the shoulder here. So the shoulder, you're going to be doing a shoulder dart. So let's find the midpoint here. Midpoint here, this is 4 inches from here to here, which will be 2 inches. Okay, so if you fold the tape, this is the midpoint. Now let us draw a line bringing down this midpoint to the center here. Now the next thing to do is to come here. Okay, so for me, I'm going to be marking 1 inch here, and I'll take 1 inch here as well. Then I'm going to be connecting that 1 inch back to this place. Okay, so this is now how our shoulder dart is going to be. Now from this armhole, we are going to be coming up. Okay, from this armhole, I'm going to be coming up here by 3 inches. So this is 3 inches here. Then I'm just going to draw a line from the center front down to that place. Okay, then I'm just going to add my 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch for seam allowance. So that is that for the top area. So now let's come down to this place. Okay, what I'm going to do is to transfer these 3 inches from here. I'll mark 3 inches out. Then from here, I'll also mark 3 inches out. But before then, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4. So if I divide my bust measurement by 4, I'm going to be having 9 inches. So that 9 inches now, I'm going to be marking it out here on my chest line. I'm going to be marking it out here. Then I'll come down to my under bust. Dividing my under bust by 4, I'm going to be having 7.5 inches, which is somewhere here. Okay, now I'm going to come down here and also divide my waist measurement by 4, which will give me 7 inches. Now let's come here and return back our 3 inches. This is 3 inches here. This is our 3 inches here. Okay, now I'm going to be dividing my hip measurement by 4. So my hip measurement is 40. Dividing that by 4, we'll have 10 inches. So I'm going to mark 10 inches here, and this should be our 3 inches. Okay, so I'm also going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring down this marking here to the last part of the skirt, of the gown rather. So I'm going to mark 10 inches, and then I'm going to return my 3 inches here. So what I'm going to do is just to connect these lines together. After drawing it out, it's going to look something like this. Okay, so now let's come down to the underarm, the armhole rather. So you notice that this place was 9 inches when we took for the bust measurement. So I added extra 2 inches here so that this place will look straight, because it would have looked something like this, which would have not been okay. Now about this place, okay, I'm not going to curve this place out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw this out and then take it straight. Okay, like this. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to draw it like this. I'm just going to take it out straight here under the armhole. So it's going to look something like this. Now while sewing, I'm going to shape all this place out. I'll just use a straight line and then sew around this armhole down straight. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just to cut this out. So if your paper has an extra paper here, what you're going to do is just to add your 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so if it doesn't have an extra paper by the side, what you do is while you are cutting it, be sure to add your 1/2 inch seam allowances by the side. So after this, now you're going to cut out the back part. So this is how the panels are going to look like. So this is 1 and this is 2. So let's go ahead and then cut out the ones for the back. So I'm going ahead to draw this out for the back. So for the back, I only need my under bust line. That's if it's necessary, but let's just see. My under bust, my hips, okay, and also my chest line. So the chest line, I'm going to take it from beginning to the end here as well. So I don't necessarily need the bust line. So this is the chest line, okay. Then I'm still going to mark our 3 inches from the chest line upwards, okay. So for the back, I'm going to be taking 2 inches, or sorry, 2.5 inches for the back. Okay, let's just take 3 inches for the back first. They will know how to go about it. So this is 3 inches. Let's mark here as well. So it's 3 inches for the back. Okay. Then our 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so this is not under bust, sorry, this is my waist. Okay, not under bust but my waist. But this is 16 inches. So what I'm going to do now is just to mark out the nipple to nipple measurements. Okay, 4 inches here as well, the same way I did with the front. I'll do the same thing too at the back as well. Then I'll draw the lines linking them down to the end. So for the darts, I'm going to come in down to my waistline here. I'll take in 1 inch here and 1 inch here as well. I'll come down to the hips. I'll also take in 1 inch here and also 1 inch here as well. Okay, now coming down to the shoulder here, let's find the midpoint. So for the shoulder, so what I'm going to do is to take, so I'm going to be taking 1/2 inch here, okay, for the back. I'm going to be taking 1/2 inch here and also 1/2 inch towards this part. So now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to be connecting these lines. I'm going to connect this line straight to this line here. I'll also connect this one. Let's take this one out first. Okay, this is how I'm going to be doing it. So, or instead of taking in 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, you can just do your normal from the center here. Okay, you take in your ruler and then you just bring it down. You just bring it down here to this part. This marker is not really allowing me to show you what I want to. So you just take it down straight here and you just bring this one as well. From that part, you just bring it down here. Okay, so you just take it straight and you just bring it straight down here, because you're still going to be cutting it out from this place. It's not really a problem. So what I'm going to do is to take here down to the end. So once that is done, I'm going to be marking out my bust measurement divided by 4. This is 9 inches here. So I'm going to come down to this place. What do we have here? I have 1 inch here. So I'm going to return the 1 inches here. Sorry, the 1 inch there. Then let's come down to my waistline. My waistline is always 7 inches when I divide it by 4. Then what do I have here? 2 inches. I'll return the 2 inches here. Coming down to my hip is 10 inches, which is here. Then this is 2 inches. I'll return back the 2 inches here. Okay, I'll also do the same thing also to the end as well. Still 10 inches here too. Then I'll now return the 2 inches. Then what I'm going to do now is just to connect the lines, the dots together. So I'm also going to do the same thing I did for the front. I'm just going to come up here and then I'll just draw this line like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and then cut this out. So you can always add your seam allowance. Okay, so remember the back, you're going to be inserting zip. So you're going to be adding 1 inch on your material here as you're cutting it out. Okay. So this is how the partner is going to look like, okay, for the back. This is how it's looking like so far. So this is 1, this is 2. So now let's come down here to the neckline. So I want to do something on the neckline. The neckline here, I just want to come down a bit, okay, from this place. So be sure that it's actually aligning, okay. So I'm just going to do this, so I can have a little curve down at the back. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that place out. So if you're wondering, let's just see how many inches this is. So this is like 1 inch, okay, from that place. So I'm just going to cut this out. Okay, so that's just it. So that's just it now for the back. And so for the pockets, I finished cutting out the rest for with the pattern papers. Right now we are going to be looking at how to cut out these pockets now. So for these pockets, I'm going to try and explain it the way I understand. So now, from this point down here, I have 7 inches. From here to here is 7 inches. From this other place here to here, this is almost 4.5. While from here to here is 2 inches. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I cut this. Now you're going to take a fabric like this, and you're going to fold it. So remember, this is on a slant. This is not like straight, it's slanted. So how you're going to fold it, you're going to fold it towards this way like this. Okay, so you're going to fold it towards this way like this. Still keeping in mind that it has to be slanted like this one. So let me place this here. Okay, so let's say this is what you want. Now we have this now. Now what we are going to do is this. So like I said, from here to here was this was 7 inches. So I might end up marking 7 inches here. I'll mark 7 inches here. Okay, or this is not how I cut out this one. This will just cut this out, just freehand. I cut this out. So I'm just going to show you. Then the next one I did was, let's say 4.5 inches somewhere here. We have 4.5 inches somewhere here. Okay, then we now had 2 inches towards the end, which is somewhere here. Okay, so now having this in mind, it's going to make it easy for us to be able to at least cut this out now. So I'm just going to do something that looks like this to try and see if I can connect them together. Okay, okay, so it's going to look something like this. So now what I'm going to do now is just to cut it out straight. Okay, so the length of this pocket outside, or once you are done folding this down, the length of the pocket should be, from the beginning here we have 13 inches. So from here down to 13 inches, this is where the pocket should stop. Okay, this is the longer side, 13 inches. Now let's come to the shorter side and see. So the shorter side is 10 inches. So from 13 inches, from here should be 10 inches. Okay, so that's 10 inches from there. So let me just mark this and connect them together. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this out. So if it's too big, I'm still going to trim it out again. going to work on this place. So with this now, I'll just come in with my scissors and then try and curve this place out. Okay. Okay, so once you do that, you have something that looks like this. So let's try and bring this in so that if it's too wide, we'll now trim it out. Okay, so this looks, the other one looks bigger than this. So what I'm going to do is just to trim this other side out. So that is just it. Okay, so for the length of the pocket, like I said, we have 13 inches this way and we have 10 inches the other way, while for the width, this is 9.5 inches here. Okay, this top part here is 10 inches. So this kind of like feels somehow because of it's being slanted, but just follow how I'm doing it in this video, you definitely get it. Okay, okay, so that's just it. So just don't forget to cut out 2 of this because it has to be fully lapped. So cut out 2 of this. So for the first part of the sleeve, okay, I'm gonna have to cut this out. The length of this, what I have here is 7.5 inches for the length, while this is almost 3 inches here. Okay, that is 2.7 inches here, but it's supposed to be 2.5 inches. So it's not necessarily not an issue. What I'm going to do is to fold it like this. Okay, then I'm also going to come in with my scissors. So we'll try to curve this this area. Okay, since that place looks curved, we have to curve it out like this. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to be using 1/2 inch to sew down. Okay, but not here. Here I'm going to just be using, let's say, 1/4 inch or just a few inches to round this place out. But by the side is going to be 1/2 inches. By the side is going to be 1/2 inches, but here will not be 1/2 inches, either 1/4 inch or thereabout. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. And I've also gone ahead to cut out the rest of the hand. Okay, the other longer part of the hand, this is how it's going to look like. So now what I have here is 15 inches in length. Then the width is 2.5 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to repeat the same thing I did for this one here. Okay, then I'm also going to repeat the same thing towards this side as well. Okay, so after I've finished doing that, make sure you're cutting 2 of each of them. So this is 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is like the 2 different hands now. Okay, it has to be double, and also this one too is also going to be double, but I made it longer because we're going to cut it at the center here. Okay, so this is how this one is going to be. So this is it now. This is double here and also double towards this part as well. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. For the center front, okay, this is center front. So I'm going ahead to cut it out on my fabric. Then I've also cut this out as well for the center front. Now let's see the width of this. The width of this is 3 inches. Okay, now when I'm sewing it, I'm going to fold it in. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch to sew by the side. Okay, so this is 3 inches. Now for the length is just the full length of this my front panel. Okay, so the full length that I have here for this gown is 36 now, 36 inches. Okay, so what I have here is also 36 inches here. Okay, so this is also 38 inches. So I'm going to show you how you're going to use this on the center front. So the first thing I'm going to sew is this one. So I'm just going to fold this in. Okay, so this is that what we're going to be using for the center front. So I'm just going to fold this in like this, and then I'm going to be using a 1/4 inch, or even something smaller than 1/4 inch as well. Then I'll just sew it down to the end. So once I sew it out down to the end, I'm just going to turn this out to the right side. The next thing I'm going to be working on now is the pocket. So let's just open this up. So we're going to start from the down part here. Then we'll start sewing. So I'm going to be using a 1/4 inch. Ouch. We're going to be using a 1/4 inch to sew down to the end here. Use 1/2 inch to sew from here down to this place. So once you just get to this point, you lift your presser foot, and then you're going to sew it like this. Okay. Now lift my presser foot again. So just keep lifting it bit by bit, okay? So you now end up creating an angle, just so that it will still come out, okay, looking rounded here as well. So once you're done turning it out, this is how the back is going to look. The bag is going to look like. So this is how it's looking like. Okay. So what you're going to do is just to top stitch. Okay. If you want to top stitch, if you don't want to top stitch, there's no problem. So I would really advise you go and iron this out first. There is no light right now. I'm using my battery to do this video. So right now, what I'm going to just do is try and make sure that this angle is out completely. Okay, so if I'm to top stitch, definitely to still come out very nice. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing now. Try and make sure that this place is out very well. If there is no light for you to iron, try and make sure that these parts are out for you to sew. Okay, it should come out very well. So I'm just going to top stitch here. So I'm going to be using a loose stitch to do that. So once I get here, I'll just carry up my presser foot. So the same way we sew the inner part is also the same way we're going to be sewing this other part as well. So just lift it up a bit, okay? that's just it. That's how the pocket is looking like. Okay, so it's going to look like this. So what I'm going to do now is just to go ahead and then sew the second pocket. The next thing I'm going to do is to attach my center front and also the side fronts together. So if you're going to be using lining for this, which is very, very important, okay, you can actually use lining for this. It will make it come out more superior than what I'm going to be doing now. So you can always cut out your lining and then do the same thing with, and then join the, the way I'm going to join this place together now, definitely. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm just going to be taking one part of the center front and also one part of the side front as well. Then I'm just going to merge them together and then sew it. I'll just place it here. Then I'll start sewing from the beginning. So I actually notched around my bust point, my under bust, my waist, and also the hip. So you can also notch around that as well. So that once you place this on each other, it is going to align very well. Okay, so that's just what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to be using a 1/4 inch and then just sew this down. So be sure not to drag as you're sewing it. Don't drag it, just allow it to stay. So once you're done sewing for the both sides of this place, don't forget to knot around here. Okay, just knot around this area. So once you are done, it's time for us to work on the center front. So on the center front, you're going to bring this in. Okay, on the center front, so what you're going to do is you're going to find the center, which is the midpoint of this center front, and then you just notch it a bit. So I'm going to place this here. Okay, I'm just going to place this here at the center. Okay, then I also have to take it down to the end. So what I'm going to do is just to come here. Okay, so I'm going to be using a 1/4 inch or just a very little inch, not something too big. Then I'm just going to sew down to the end. So I'll just sew it down to the end. So once we are done placing this, the next thing we are going to do is to pick this part. Okay, so this is the dart. We are going to pick the dart from the front. Okay, then we are going to sew top stitch on top of this. So I'm going to be using a loose stitch for that. So I'm just going to top stitch here. So we're going to sew it to the end. Okay, so just keep sewing like that to the end. I will also sew this part as well to the end. That's towards this this area here. We'll sew it down to this place. So once you're done, it's going to look something like this. So what we are going to do now is to do the same thing to the back as well. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and then I join my back together. Okay, and then top stitch it the way it is like this for the back. Okay, so this was what I did. Okay, So far I have gone ahead to bend around the neckline. So I would really prefer if you should use a lining inside this very style. So it's much better for you to use lining to line the inside, so that once you turn it, it will look something like this. Okay, it will look much neater than the way it is now. So I've also gone ahead to do this as well. Okay, so these are the straps I'm going to be using for the hand on the shoulder. So I've gone ahead to do this. I will end up ironing it out. So I had to sew around this first, then I turned it out to the right side, and then I top stitch. That's the only thing I did. And I also did the same thing here as well for these two. So what I'm going to do now is to bring these ones. I'm bringing these ones to the front, okay? To the front here. So I'm going to put these ones here, okay? This way is going to be, and this way this one too is going to be. So what I'm going to do is just to sew. I'm just going to sew on top here, okay, and also sew on top here as well. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to bring in the back. So like I said earlier, I have finished with the back. So this is the back, and I've also inserted my zip as well. So I'm going to bring in the back. I'll just place it here, and then I'm going to be using 1/2 inch first of all to sew down to the end of one side. Okay, so be sure that you're actually aligning them well, and they should be where they're supposed to. So we are going to just use 1/2 inch to sew down to the end first, before they will not end up seeing if it's okay. You can then leave it. If it's not, we'll not shape it again. Okay, so that's what's going to happen before I will now insert the pocket. So I'm going to close one side and then insert the pocket, and then show you how you would insert the other side as well. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. So remember that the underarm, okay, remember that this place was, so we actually left a lot of gap here. So even if I start from here, it's not going to be a problem. Okay, so I'm just going to take this in, although I still feel I will still end up shaping this again. So gradually, as you keep going, just keep shaping it in. Okay. So let's just use 1/2 inch and then shape this down to the end. So I've already gone ahead to attach one of the pockets. So I'm going to show you guys how I attached the second one. So real quick, I'm going to just show you that before my battery run down. So for the pockets, I had to close both sides of the gown. Okay, I had to close both sides and then weigh it and be sure that it's comfortable on me first before you before you end up attaching the pocket. So remember how we kept it. Okay, this was how it was. And also when you are wearing this, be sure to mark. I actually use needle to mark, pin to mark where mine is going to start from. So I'm just going to open the back, then I'll place it here. Okay, then I'll bring in my pockets, then from this place I'm going to place it at this marking here where I have the pin. I'll just take out the pin. and then I'm going to start sewing from that place. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it just close to the dart. Okay, closer to the dart like this. Then I'll keep on using that loop stitch to sew down to the end. So once you get to this place, you're going to fold this part in. Okay, you can fold in 1/2 inch or 1 inch, anyhow, it's still okay. So I'm just going to fold it in, and then I'll just sew it down. Okay, carry out my presser foot, so turn it around, and I also bend it this way. So mind you, it's going to cover the back, the side seam. It's going to get to the side seam. They're using the exact same measurement that I used. It will get to the side seam and even cover the side seam as well. So I'll just sew this down. So once I get here, okay, I'm just going to sew everything down as well. Just make sure it's on a straight line. Then as you're coming, be folding this place so that you'll be sure where this one stops, so you can also stop there as well. Okay, so just sew straight down here. So once you're done inserting the pockets, it's going to look something like this. Okay, so what you're going to do next is just to measure from this point, from this dart here. As in, you have to wait on your body and measure from there down to the dart here at the back, so that you will know how long you're going to so as you're going to cut out this same thing again, okay, that you're going to use here. You understand? They're going to use here. So that's what you're going to measure out, so you can repeat this same thing and then use it for this place. So once you're done, the next thing I'm going to do now is just to bend the down parts. Okay, I'm just going to bend these down parts and try and attach my buttons with this. So that's just it. So once you're done, the gown is done.